police and the streets and everything else, these kids are still the thing we should be hanging our hats on. They're very good. You know, I'm gonna let one of the kids in this, and they do a better job than I should.
Hello, we are the St. Albans City School Lighting Committee. Over the past year, we have been studying and compiling information regarding our the streetlights in our city. Our goal was to gather information and make a list of options that we could do that could lower the amount of money we spend on lighting each year. In this presentation, you will hear about the studies that we looked at, results from a poll we conducted, our analysis of streetlights in the city, light meters, and light pollution. We will end our presentation with a list of possible options, and we will include the pros and cons of each option. I'll start out our presentation by giving an overview of the studies that we took a look at. The first study is called Improving Street Lighting to Reduce Crime in Residential Areas, and it was put out by the U.S. Department of Justice and the Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services, and it took place in 2008. This study concludes that increased streetlights make the general public feel safer, and there is enough solid proof that they can actually help improve crime rates. A quote from the study is that a recent authoritative review concluded that improved street lighting led to a 21% decrease in crime compared with comparable control areas. The second study we looked at is called Influence on Street Lighting on Crime and Fear of Crime, and it was put out by the London Bureau of Wandsworth, and it took place in 1985. In the packet that my teacher has, you'll get them afterwards, there are 3 tables of information regarding the tests that they did with streetlights. The first table shows how much crime was reported in daytime and nighttime, both a year before and after areas were relit. The second table shows specifically which crimes were affected before and after the zones were relit. And the last chart shows how the streetlights affected their travel habits. It shows that the main reason people avoided areas was because of poor lighting. But after the streets were relit, the percent of people avoiding areas for that reason was significantly lower. However, the study concludes that although some areas did show some change, there was not enough significant evidence that streetlights actually made people feel safer. It only makes them feel safer. And the last study we took a look at is Overview of Light and Crime Studies, and it was put out by the National Institute of Law Enforcement. It took place from 1977 to 1998. And like the previous study, the study suggests that lighting doesn't help people become safer. A quote is, "Consider lighting outside of ATM machines," for example. An ATM user might feel safer when an ATM and its immediate surrounding area is well lit. However, this same lighting makes the patron more visible to passing offenders. Who the lighting serves is unclear. So all 3 of those studies, there's a link to them on the first page of those packets if you ever need to refer to them. And overall, 2 of the 3 studies suggest that although citizens feel safer with more streetlights, there's not actually enough proof to show that they actually are. And the most recent study concludes that more streetlights will actually help keep citizens safe. Next, I would like to introduce Cordelia Bell, who will go over poll results.
I would like to start off with a questioning thing that we had with the Chief of Police. We asked him about streetlights and their effect that they have on crime. Our first question was, what is the current trend in crime in the city? He said that it has gone down in the past few years. We asked what percent happens during the day. He said that crime during the day is highest between 5 p.m. and 12 a.m. We asked what percent is at nighttime and very early, and he said it's much lower than in the daytime. We asked him his professional opinion, what do you think of what effects do streetlights have on crime rates? He said that crime rates go down with streetlights and people do feel safer. We asked what effect the crime rates in Albans City might have if we were to shut down streetlights. He said that crime rates would possibly go up. He also gave us his suggestion about what should be done with the streetlights here. He said that it would be best to leave the downtown alone since 60% or more of the crime rates happen in the downtown area. Lights in residential areas give a warm and fuzzy feeling, and they make the public feel safer. But if those were taken away, there probably would be no effect on crime. We also did a poll with 20 people about streetlights. We had 3 studies that had very different results. So my classmates and I decided that it would be best to give a poll to the people who lived in the St. Albans area about streetlights. We came up with 7 questions and called 20 people to see what their answers were to these questions. These questions were, do you have streetlights on your street? Do all the streetlights on your street work? Why do you think streetlights are important? How would you feel if they were turned off? Are there enough streetlights on your street? If streetlights were shut off for money-saving purposes, what time should they be turned off at night? For our first question, 95% of people said that they had streetlights on their street, and 5% said they did not. Our next question, people answered. 70% of them said that streetlights in their street worked. 25% said that not all of them worked, and 5% did not know. For our third question, 41% of people surveyed believe that streetlights are important because they help when you're outside at night. 18% said that streetlights prevent crime, and 41% that they give a sense of safety. For our fourth question, 25% of people didn't care if streetlights were turned off. 65% were extremely opposed, and 10% wanted them to be turned off. For our fifth question, 70% of people thought that there were enough streetlights. 25% thought that there were too many, and 5% thought that there were not enough. For our last question, 90% of people had no concerns about streetlights here in St. Albans. 5% thought that there were too many streetlights and that it was wasting money, and 5% said that there was not enough streetlights and more should be added. The next question that I did was we made a copy of the all the streetlights in St. Albans on Google Maps, and I'm gonna show you that. Can you? I don't know where it is. Mr. Coffee. To get to this, you need to go to Archives and get the 2010-2011 school year. Then when you get there, you go to the St. Albans City Lighting Project, I believe it is. You scroll down to the end of the page and you'll see the globe that this started out as. You just click one of the files underneath and you'll be able to access this. It's open to anyone, and we made a copy of this.
The boys, I think the boys, did you want to talk about that? You guys are the ones that...
Yeah, they'll explain it
Okay.
in more detail than I have. So do you guys want to come up?
Alright, so as Cordelia said, this is the online version of the
Do you gentlemen have names?
Tanner Coffee.
President, he's vice president.
Well, first of all, we first mapped the lights on a hard copy, and we had groups, and each group got a section of the city. And after looking at this map, we figured that it wasn't as efficient as using the GPS.
And so we went around with the GPS and we went right up to the street lights and pressed a certain button and it went right on the GPS, and right when we got back to the computer we uploaded them, put them on Google Maps, and we saw wicked different and that was more efficient. And so that kind of is how we got them up there.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, did you do that, the GPS during the day?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
You guys just want to zoom in on that just so they can see the accuracy on that. It's a really neat project.
And this is one street right there. And these little dots are the street lights.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Thanks to the city too, who, the policemen kind of kept an eye on it while they were out there. We told them they were out there, and the police were very good about driving around and stopping when they saw the kids. And also the public works department lent them all vests, so it was a pretty neat project. Cordelia? Who's next?
Lucia.
There you go.
My name is Lucia Telke, and I'm a 7th grader in Team USA. And I'm Issa Harrison, and I'm a 7th grader as well. And we're going to talk to you about how we measure, how to measure light and foot candles. Okay, so foot candles are a measurement of brightness of light, and this simply means the amount of light that hits in 1 square foot. Foot candles are very similar to lux, which is, the only difference is that lux are metric system, but however, this is like, we don't really use it here, but we use foot candles a lot here. It's one of the most common ways to measure light. But
the other ways to measure light are like candle power, lumens, and lux. And candle power is the luminous intensity in some direction measured at the source of the light, and a lumen is the amount of light at the source. It measures the rate of energy flowing. And lux is like a foot candle, but it measures per square meter instead of per square foot.
And so, like, the most common way to measure light is with a meter, a light meter, and use this to find the illuminance. It's the only tool that you need for most of it's really the only tool that you need for most applied lighting efficiency work. And some people even have them on their camera, like.
And like, if you like have like a mental picture, it's sort of like if you have a light bulb and then a ruler. A foot candle measures the density of the light at the end of the ruler, and like other measures of light measure in radiance, but the foot candle measures the illuminance. And in St. Albans, we measure most of our lights with foot candles, and like if you go outside and you see like a light, most of them produce about, I think, well, not like our lights, but generally lights produce about 100 to like 1,000 foot candles. And the foot candles and lux are usually used, like not really the lumens and the other ones. So we measure with foot candles. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Gabby Kamash.
And I'm Andy Essenler.
We are both on the Energy Committee at St. Albans City School. Now we're going to talk about light pollution, what it is, how it affects us, animals, and the environment. So what is it? Light pollution is the brightening of the night sky caused by street lights and other man-made sources.
That creates a sky glow or orange haze over cities and other urban areas.
Although we need light, light pollution can be harmful to people, animals, and the environment. One arguable effect on humans is that light pollution can increase the risk of heart disease, or breast cancer. The first World Atlas of the Artificial Night Sky Brightness did a report on global light pollution. The results were that 2/3 of the U.S. population have already lost sight of the Milky Way with the naked eye.
One major case of light pollution affecting animals is birds. Birds' migratory patterns can be altered by light pollution. Many birds are confused with bright lights, and that causes them to fly into buildings. Light pollution also has an effect on trees' seasonal changes. To a tree, artificial light is similar to light.
In solution to this issue is to buy LED streetlights that face downward. The reason why they should be LED is because normal lights will bounce off the ground and create an orange haze.
Thank you. Are there any questions that we can answer for anybody? No. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Danielle Spitzer, I'm a freshman this year, and I will be discussing options. Your first option is to keep everything as it is. Downtown Committee is moving towards replacing business district lights with energy-saving halogen lights. If we do this and keep everything else the same, there will be savings around 50% per light. The cost per light per month is around $19. So a realized savings of $124 per light per year will be saved. The cost conversion might be as high as $750 a fixture to replace. There will be no safety issues or concerns with this option. Option 2 is to leave them all off except for the business district. This presents potential real or perceived safety issues, yet the savings would be around $75,000 to $85,000 per year. Option 3 is to shut off every other or select lights. The charts show the foot candles measured every 30 feet. Chart 1 is actually measurements with a photometer. Chart 2 is the estimation of readings if every other light is extinguished, based on chart 1. For comparison's sake, directly under a streetlight is 0.9 foot candles, and an average night with no streetlight effect is 0.1 foot candles. If one makes the assumption that having a streetlight in front of your house is an advantage, this is false. A streetlight might be a detriment, providing a light for a crime. The following changes happen on an average street. The number of houses enjoying the full light of a street is halved. The number of houses in total darkness is doubled. If a street light in front of your yard is an advantage, the advantage should be considered an unfair advantage, since the tax rate is not affected on this publicly provided advantage. Thus, the argument could be made that having the numbers of street lights is simply equalizing, to a greater extent, this free advantage. Thus, one recommends there might be to turn off every other street light. This could be done temporarily by CDPS on a light-to-light basis. Adjustments could be made to cover intersections and other important public features such as fire hydrants. The savings based on this concept of not changing lighting in business district will be reduced by installing halogen lights suggested by the downtown committee. Might be in a range of 25 to 35% of the current light budget. Cost is $218 light per year. There will be 503 lights, approximately 120 are in or around the downtown area. The remainder halved is 191 lights times $218 equals a potential savings of $41,638 per year. Your fourth option is to eliminate streetlights and let homeowners who desire streetlights in front of their home could light their front porch. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it? Yes?
2 questions. Which lights were measured? Only in the right-of-way or in public parking lots, or did you go into any?
We did public parking lots and we did all the lights in the right of way.
Okay.
And when I called CVPS, I think we picked up some of the lights that might have been private, in the sense there were some lights on some of the buildings that were facing towards them, and I'm imagining that's paid by the building owner. For example, I'm thinking down on Weldon Street. So we measured almost any light they came across.
Okay. Is this data available as a spreadsheet or some other fashion digitally?
What, you're looking for a list of the lights on the streets?
Right.
I don't think we could do that. I think we could get it off there. I think we could get a list because we don't have it listed by the streets. You understand what I'm saying? We could pull up a street and tell you how many lights are on it. We could if we found it on there and counted them, but it's not in the form that you're looking at. We could get that. We could do that quite easy.
Any other questions from the council? Do you guys have any questions for us? Pretty quiet group, jeez.
It is.
Very well behaved.
Well, considering I taught most of the council, I could tell you.
Well, I was gonna.
I could tell you these guys are a little unlearned.
Now you know why we don't have any questions. I was going to say, when I had Mr. Delorier for a teacher, we used to box on Friday afternoons. Now you guys are doing Google Maps and GPS, so I'm glad to see you. You've come quite a ways. This is a very impressive presentation you guys and girls have made tonight, and it's given us a lot of information to look at as we build our budget and as we do our downtown streetscape over the next year and a half. And we appreciate your effort. And if we have any other questions or need more information or any other studies done, we know who to go to. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much.